West Avenue, what's going on? Hey, Wednesday, halfway through the week, continuing with our idea of observing and what you observe. And yesterday was all about input and output, but also that you reap what you sow. So that actually, if you sow the good, then you'll reap the good. And I truly believe that and encourage you as parents to do those things day in and day out. Let me tell you about today of continuing with the observation of things that I've seen in my life and things that I've seen in 10 years of teaching. But let me give you some examples that I'll first start off with parenting and teaching is difficult, exhausting, excruciating, mentally frustrating, draining, physically into the ground running, literally, day in and day out. Especially right now, I can I just believe that amidst sheltering in place and to keep up the good that you're doing, to continue on the course of finishing school, and we still have a month left to continue to ask the students and hold them accountable for work and making sure that they continue their studies. And I don't encourage you to stop there, even over summer. Encourage them to read, encourage them to write, to continue math skills, the most basic things to help them not lose any of the knowledge that they've gained this school year, because it does tend to happen. Just continuing to use it, apply it as best you can, whether using the public library, whether using, making sure the kids, if they have money in a piggy bank or anything, that they're practicing adding and subtracting and counting change and multiplication, whatever it is that your student is learning, division, all those things, and of course writing, getting better at writing about anything, writing letters to thank those that have helped families along the way. I just encouraged my wife, the neighbors brought over little Easter things. That was 2 weeks ago. My wife was making sure that she had the girls write last night. They wrote letters last night to our neighbors. So continued writing and things. But today I want to talk about some things that I've observed, like I said, of exhausting, parenting, all those things. But I want to encourage you to not grow weary in doing good. Today's message and thought is to do not grow weary in doing good, because in due time you'll reach a harvest that you may not see it right now, and that's one thing that we do as teachers, that as we continue to teach day in and day out, and maybe we don't ever get to see the change, but that I've had over 10 years countless students writing me letters, come back to visit me, that I did make a difference. In the moment, it seems like you're just, sometimes beating a dead horse, or it seems that you're talking to the wall, but I promise you it comes back around. That I promise you that what you do will reap a harvest. Do not grow weary in doing good. I'm going to give you a prime example. There was, so I taught health at the middle school level, 8th grade, and we taught abstinence-based, and I truly believe it's most important, and so to trying to be abstinent by God's grace until your wedding night as a gift that you can give to your spouse. I believe in my heart that, and of course that you almost create a soul tie between partners. If they choose to have sexual intercourse, then it just links the bodies together emotionally, a deep emotion, and then you carry that. I mean, it's easily done, which I told the 8th graders that the emotional devastation is so much greater if you go those routes and be choosing intimacy with someone that you barely know, or maybe you've known them for a while, but it goes south, and then thus it's emotionally devastating. And so So anyways, I would teach abstinence-based, and so I had a wonderful lesson about not giving yourself to someone else unless you know that they are willing to admit in front of God and everyone else that they're going to love you to the day that they die, for richer or poorer, for health or illness, for all these different things that says in wedding vows, but to not give yourself to them until that night. And just think about what the amazing gift of sharing your body with someone that night, instead of loosely giving it to so many people over the course of your life, that it loses its value. God forbid that it loses its value. A gift that He has given us to have intimacy with your spouse, to enjoy them only. And I have to admit of my mistakes and that I have not wasn't able to hold on to that. And I made many mistakes. And it even I saw in college many of people that I knew just taking it so lightly and just unfortunately just not withholding it as the preciousness that there is with being intimate with one person. But I shared this abstinence lesson every semester with all my students, and hoping and praying that they would wait and not give themselves to someone else until, Lord willing, that of course the commitment in front of everybody is willing to lay their life down for one another. And so anyways, this young girl, she comes back from the high school. She's sophomore, junior year, coming back from the high school. I was sitting in my classroom in the summer, and she comes back and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Knox, blah, blah, blah." And I'm talking to her, and I remember her family and some things that she's told me, and that was like 3 years ago. I remember her. She's so kind. We talked for about an hour and about everything and how her summer was and what her graduation plans are as a junior, and heading into what she wants to be in a career and all these things, and then the hour was great. It was a fun time catching up, and then she decides to walk out the door. I say goodbye, we hug and say thanks so much for stopping by. Really enjoyed talking to you, and I just pray blessings over you. And then she comes back in the room. And she says, "Oh, Mr. Knox, I forgot to even tell you what I came here to tell you in the first place." I said, "Oh, okay. What is it that you'd like to tell me?" And she's like, "Mr. Knox, I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and we haven't had sex." And she said, I remember everything you talked about of being abstinent and how important that was. And we have made sure that we haven't gone that route." And she said, "He loves me for my character, for who I am. Not just because I'm attractive or my body, or that he really does care for me and cherishes me as a person." And as tears rolling down my face, way to go. I'm so proud of you. You're going to be so grateful that you did wait. It's going to be such a wonderful gift that you can give your spouse, an intimate moment of just enjoying one another, of two becoming one. And you're making the right choice. Way to go. Parents, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due time you reap a harvest of righteousness. It pays off in the end. The dividends are worth it. That they are listening. They are taking it in. Don't grow weary. parents in doing good. And what I mean is that I get on the phone regularly and I call some families and they don't answer. And so then I go to the next family or next relative on the list. And then I call them. And the grandparents are so kind to answer the phone and so kind to talk to the student. Or an aunt or somebody else is gracious enough to talk, but then I wonder, why is it that I can't get a hold of the parent? And you guys, it's exhausting. I myself am included. I mean, I get to teach gift. I get to teach children all day long, and then I get to come home and I have 4 more children to love on and engage and encourage and to speak life into them. And it's exhausting. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. You're a parent for the rest of your life. Oh, how exciting is that? Hey, but it can be so easy and tempting to hand the device over when you're tired, or to turn on a show, or to go to your room, or to go do something else, or I can't be bothered right now. Or at a restaurant, at a dinner at a restaurant, and it just eats me alive when so many children are on devices and families aren't engaging one another, and it's parents, don't grow weary in doing good. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't quit. Don't put it on somebody else. Don't give the power over to us as teachers, but that you have the greatest power. You do. Don't give it to the grandparents or the aunts or the uncles, or don't give it to us as teachers, but that you have the greatest influence, teaching power of investing in such good things into their life. Don't grow weary in doing good, even if you're tired or exhausted, even when they need to be corrected. Even when you've corrected them 5 times in the past few minutes. Don't give up. Don't quit. For you will reap a harvest of righteousness. It'll all be worth it. I promise. And that's what I get to do every day. A story that I share with my staff of a little boy. He's on the beach and the starfish have washed up for the tide, and an old man comes up and there's starfish everywhere, and the old man says, son, what are you doing? He said, I'm saving the starfish. I'm throwing them back in the sea. And the old man looks at the boy and says, son, you can't save them all. And he says, as he picks up the next one, he says, I know, but I just saved that one. Picks up another one. I just saved that one. Parents, don't grow weary in doing good. Because you, family, educators, we get to save that one. And the next one. And the next one. Hey, I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today on our Wednesday. things that I observe. Hey, family, what do you observe? Consider what you do. Hey, you reap what you sow. Don't grow weary in doing good. Hey, as always, may we live to please Him. Because of His love, we love. Let's not just hear it, let's do it. Family love, it's what you do. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Have a wonderful Wednesday.